I feel like so many games nowadays come out
Fallout
unreleased or
76.
unpolished, and just like so many bad starts.
Hey everybody, we just played, how long? Like a couple hours?
It was an hour and a half.
An hour and a half of Apex Legends. Most of us for the first time. I know Jack, Jared, and myself, Matt, all played for the first time just now, and then Peter's been on it for a while. And man, we are super impressed with what we saw so far. What do you think, guys?
I will start by saying I don't play battle royales. I don't really like battle royales. I think I'm going to go home and download this because this is really cool, and I really liked what I saw and played. I had a really fun time playing, and I know I'll have fun playing this with other people. I've got a lot I want to talk about, but yeah, I want to get everyone else's impression as well.
Jared, what do you think?
I'm glad PUBG finally updated.
No, I played this game for maybe about 6-7 hours now, and like you guys, I was super impressed right from the start. Like, this game kind of came out of nowhere, and it comes out so polished with all these little details. Oh, I love it.
Really unique implication if you compare the difference between this and other battle royale games to like the difference between like PUBG and Fortnite, for example. It's actually really, really unique while still keeping like core battle royale elements. Like at first I thought that every character was gonna have their own like kind of weapon set like they would in Overwatch, and we found ourselves discussing a lot like how like how that kind of gives or takes away from the battle royale experience, but like just the amount of customization, like every part of this game that they implemented just seems like so thoughtful, and it's really an improvement to every battle royale that we've seen before.
Sort of piggybacking on that idea, I really do love how they've sort of incorporated those elements of like online MOBAs with, you know, different characters with different specializations and abilities, but kept it in the vein of a battle royale. It works surprisingly well together, where you would often see like certain abilities are more powerful than others, and that would really tilt the scales in one person's favor. It doesn't seem like that's the case here. It seems like it's very, very well balanced, and no one character has an advantage over another from what I've seen so far.
I definitely agree. Like, when I originally heard that, I wasn't a big fan of it. I was like, I don't know how this is going to fit into a battle royale. That seems, I don't know, I could see them going really pay to win with that, but no, it's implemented surprisingly well. I'm blown away by it.
Yeah, and like a lot of the UI improvements too, like both in the design of the game, I guess is more of a quality of life improvement, but just like the whole thing through seems like every frustration you've ever had with the way a battle royale is organized. Like the example I gave is the fact that like when you're playing PUBG, you can pick up a level 2 helmet, but then if you find a level 1 helmet, you could switch it out and be none the wiser. But they don't even let you pick out improvements that are weaker than a
lesser level than the one.
Yeah, you get it. So it's just it's stuff like that. It's just so well thought out, and the way that they implemented this like team cooperation mechanics into the game, like for example how only one person gets to choose where pick where you drop and get everybody to drop at the same time, but at the same time like it's cool because you still have kind of the option in a lot of ways. Like it highly recommends that you be a good teammate and makes it easy for you to do that, but still you do have the option, you do have the freedom that battle royales allow you. So like in the first game that we played, like our teammates just jetted off right away, which we thought was bad play, but apparently that's not something that you see. So I assume,
I'd never seen that before we just played.
Yeah, so I guess like the system of the game really encourages players to focus on playing as a team and not being every man for itself.
So do you think that's why they kind of made it squads only, at least on launch?
Yeah, I mean it makes sense. Like it would be cool maybe if they put solos or duos or quads or anything like that in the future, but also because this game has a lot more of a meta game that it's established for itself right off the bat. It's not just a wild free-for-all like PUBG or Fortnite is. It's really based on like making your team and surviving with your team. So you know, maybe they put those implications in the future, but I think the game really lends itself to the 3-player style.
I agree. I actually really like the 3-person squad. I can especially see it being awesome when you're playing with friends. It just seems like a really good number, and also a fair number. Like if you do have 1 or 2 people on your squad down, it doesn't feel like the odds are completely stacked against you, kind of like it does if you were playing PUBG and it's like, oh well, there's a squad of 4 people, I guess I'll die now.
Yeah, it was a really, really well chosen number for the most part.
So what would you say stood out most to you, Jack, in terms of what you're playing? Like what? Because I was honestly surprised to hear you say that you really like it, just knowing your stance on battle royales.
What stood out to me immediately was the gunplay.
Oh, yeah?
The gunplay is crisp and well tuned, but it doesn't have like that level of perfect polish on it where it's like if you're a hair off, like you've missed the shot completely. It doesn't have it's not like you're getting shot and everything becomes shaky and it's impossible to see. It's like I was in one part, I was in a like close range gun battle with this person in a small enclosed space, and I could just still line up the shots. They could line up theirs, and it was just whoever had the best trigger finger, and that really stood out to me. So I really, that stood out to me immediately. But also kind of the UI improvements that Matt was talking about. Like, I especially like how you're just picking stuff up and it's automatically equipping it to your gun. You can immediately tell what's better, so you can quickly swap it out. Like that, to me, that's perfect, because I hate the inventory management in PUBG.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's awful, honestly, I think. But that's just me, so.
Yeah, like playing Blackout, they kind of they tried to combat that with the quick equip method, and it was better, but this is way easier to do.
It's like in sticking to the battle royale formula, a lot of these other games have kind of missed out on the opportunity to improve. So I'm just so impressed with the open-mindedness of the developers of this game, and the fact that they were able to really well implement that MOBA system, and then think like, what frustrates me as a player of a battle royale, like what can I improve on in this game? And I'm just blown away. Like the whole time when I was watching gameplay of this, I was just absolutely overwhelmed with being so impressed.
One thing I read in an article is that this game was actually Respawn's idea. They brought it to EA saying, hey, we love these battle royale games, we want to do this. So this is totally a passion project too.
Cool.
So I think that's where the inspiration from a lot of these improvements come from.
EA was like, yeah, we'll let you work on a passion project.
I guess.
EA was like, yeah, here's a budget. Just put some loot boxes in.
That's exactly.
That's very forward thinking for EA.
EA was like, oh, free to play, lots of microtransactions. Okay.
Gotcha.
All right. Well,
and yeah, although that's something that comes under criticism, like the microtransactions especially, you have to think like, PUBG, you either have Game Pass or you buy the game, and it is what it is. Like, this is a free game, so not only are we absolutely blown away by how well this game is executed and the quality and the enjoyment of the gameplay, you don't have to pay $1 to play this game. And I think this game has a really, really bright future. I can say that with absolute confidence. I suggested earlier it might be the game to take out Fortnite, and while I'm kind of realizing more and more that that's probably impossible, I think it's a much higher quality battle royale, which is going to pull players who are truly a fan of the genre and not doing weird dances.
Yeah.
One thing I am curious about is this game is obviously brand new. I'm wondering how long it was in development for. Like, what was the turnaround time on this? Because it's really only the past year that battle royales have become really, really big, right? So I'm wondering, like, when did they start developing this? Like, this is really well polished, and it's got, it looks fantastic. It plays fantastic. Like, I'm wondering, has this only been in development for a year and a half at most, 2 years?
Yeah, that's what I don't know, but that's kind of what I'd guess. I bet they like took the foundation of Titanfall 2.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Like, did they take the bare bones of another one of their games and were just able to implement this on top of it?
Because it really feels like Titanfall in terms of like how your character actually moves and the jumping and stuff. I could totally see just like clicking a button and then the double jumps enabled sort of thing. Have you guys played Titanfall before, any of you?
I played a little bit. I never owned either of them. I just played on like other people's consoles when I was around.
We were the tag team masters.
Yeah, no, I totally feel Titanfall gunplay in this game. And that's perfectly fine by me.
To me, Blackout took it a step way past PUBG. PUBG was already left in the dust when Blackout came out. I think Fortnite was as well, but I never liked Fortnite to begin with. This game added, like you said, critiqued a few of the things that Blackout didn't have. I feel gameplay-wise, it's almost an identical game. But I feel like the little things they added to it, like you said, you can't equip things that are less of quality. I think that's a nice thing they added. The alts, I mean, it's hit and miss. I think they would balance it really well. But again, they're coming from a Titanfall game. They already knew how to balance alts to begin with because of that game.
Yeah, really.
So I didn't expect that to be a big issue. But I definitely think gameplay-wise, it piggybacking off Blackout. But I think it's polished things that Blackout needed to polish before. But other than that, I think like the look of the game looks to me like a game. I mean, like, it's the same thing to me. Blackout had the same look. It's just a really crisp game.
Yeah, I think something else is the fact that when you hear that there's none of the parkour that was available in Titanfall, because I know a lot of the discussion within our group of friends before I actually saw this game played was like, this is what this game doesn't have, this is what this game is lacking, and I honestly kind of had low expectations at first, especially considering like the outward reaction was like, oh, another battle royale and stuff like that. Oh, they're just piggybacking off a popular genre. But like when you think about it, like not including parkour in a battle royale particularly kind of lends itself to it a little better. That's something we were discussing while we were playing, is like, you know, maybe parkour works a little better in a team deathmatch, but for the scope of a battle royale, it might be worthy not to include it for the most part.
I would disagree. I think it would complement the final, the end game more, because it'd make it more of a challenge. You'd have more of a reaction time requirement rather than just the, to me the ending of this one is like playing the same thing in Call of Duty. It's the same kind of ending to it. There's nothing really new in that aspect to me. And the thing that made Titanfall a better game than Call of Duty in the first place was the parkour and the ability to be more mobile around. And Black Ops 4 tried to piggyback off that. They did an all right job. It's still a fun game, but to me, I was hoping there was gonna be that style, because that's what I really look forward to in the Titanfall games to begin with.
But one thing we were kind of discussing is that it's maybe not super balanced to have people parkouring all over the place. And I kind of was on your side with this, Jared, because I think it would be cool to see those parkour mechanics in a battle royale. So I think maybe as a developer, how you kind of nerf that is maybe you give like people a stamina bar so you can do parkour, but only for a certain amount of time. And then, you know, you have to recharge or whatever, you know, however you stylistically want to do that. Or maybe certain characters are better at it. Like, it doesn't make sense for Gibraltar to be walking around on walls in all that heavy armor or whatever.
That's a really good idea, actually, Jack. We should like tweet at Apex Legends or something and tell them to put that in.
That's just off the top of my head. But
that's what you come up with off the top of your head? Imagine if you actually were trying to put it.
Also, sort of those tools of locomotion, it's not really something we've seen a lot in battle royales, so it is interesting that it's there. I mean, I guess like Fortnite has the gliders or whatever, but it kind of makes me worried because the robot character, he has the zipline. I'm thinking maybe going forward he might become a little bit overpowered, because having that zipline really gives you an edge. In a lot of ways, so he might become like a must-pick character.
It
going
seems
forward.
like I think from the very little that I saw of this game before playing it today, I think I kind of were seeing more of the robot than anybody else. At the very least, like in a game with limited movement options, being able to have a zipline that just goes is a really convenient tool. And on in a team basis, you know, like if you're all moving together as a squad and you guys need to get somewhere far, especially if you're in communication with each other, which the game very much encourages that you do through the way that it's designed, it's really easy for the robot to take point, throw the zip line, and everybody going down there like you're in an action movie or something.
Yeah, I agree to an extent. Like I really agree with what you said about like giving wall jumping, double jumping or whatever to a character just like the robot, because that was something most people could do in Titanfall 2. We used the grapple hook, and now only one character has it. So I bet they'll kind of give that out as characters come out. But I think the stamina bar is a good idea, and I personally, by the end of the game, if there's parkour, by like when it gets to like 2-3 teams left, it would just piss me off, because people would parkour around me and I'd die and be like, this game's so unfair.
That's called get good. Everyone's at the same disadvantage when it's in the game.
I also wonder if like if them designing the map had anything to do with, like, because obviously if you can double jump and wall run, that's a lot more map design. There's a lot more intricacies and stuff like that. So maybe they could have just included that just to make the map more simple to design to an extent, because like we were saying, I bet it did have a relatively short development time.
I don't even think you would necessarily need a double jump. I think the regular jump in this was strong enough and floaty enough that if you were just like to jump and hold A and run along a wall, kind of like Lucio style, then I think that would work just fine. And then after a couple seconds you fall off and then your stamina bar has to recharge. I think that would probably be balanced, honestly, because then you're not just parkouring all over the place in a final battle or whatever, but maybe you can parkour quickly in the final battle to like get out away from, you know, a bad spot and then like flank somebody
Yeah.
and give yourself the upper hand.
See, I'd be fine with that sort of thing.
So you say that, Peter, yet you killed people in Titanfall 2, and that's exactly
but
what
that's
they're
not
doing.
a battle royale. Then
But
like
in the final match, the map size is no bigger than a team deathmatch match in Titanfall 2.
But the difference is like I can be killed in a bullshit way and be like, oh, like then I respawn. I'm immediately back into it. There's not the disconnect from I lost the game. Now I got to re-find the team.
Yeah.
Now I got to re-pick character. Now we got to jump.
It's a lot more frustrating when that disadvantage like causes you the entire game and robs your victory, right?
Like I totally think it could be in, and it'd probably be relatively fine. But personally, I wouldn't want that. Like I think it's not a battle royale game, but watch Lawbreakers. That was a lot of movement in the air, a lot of fast speed like that.
So here's my question. There's a guy that can literally call a bomb run over a fairly large portion of the map. If you're in the final game against him and he calls that, you're probably gonna be pretty fucking mad.
You can go
that
in a
you lost.
building, and you get tons
What
of
if you're
warning.
what if you're not in an area that is in the building?
Well, you can just run out of the radius. You can see where the radius is.
But that puts you at an immediate disadvantage over him.
Yeah, but that's like any ult. That's like any ability, though. It's
Exactly. So what's the difference with wall jumping? It just puts you at a slight disadvantage to them.
It's because it's harder to aim at. I find
and you don't spend like ages charging a wall jump or something like that. It's an ult. It's oppressive for a reason.
Yeah.
I don't see how you would not be at a disadvantage if somebody unleashes their ult at you, especially if it's down to the last kill and it's just you versus them. If they fire off their ult, you're probably in a bad spot.
No, I just don't see how wall jumping would make such a huge difference at endgame.
it's more personal.
Because to me, it's just an aggressive gameplay. It's no different than handling any other aggressive gameplay. You just take it slow, make sure you get the first shot. You just keep track of them. And I feel like that put them at a disadvantage because it's predictable if they're doing a wall jump where they're gonna go.
To a degree, but
and if Jack has said what he said, like even Titanfall 2 had a cooldown on the jump. You couldn't just literally go on forever.
it was pretty generous, though. It was very generous.
And adjust it. So do like you can do it, and then it takes like, I don't know, 10 seconds to completely refill, and then go for it. So they can't just go boop 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 boop. They can use it once to get maybe a flanking position, and then if you follow them enough, then you messed them up.
Yeah, no, I think it definitely could work. Like, you would obviously need adjustments from the other Titanfall games, like you said. But yeah, no, it could work. But I don't want it in there. I think they toned down all of the movement in general in this compared to Titanfall. So, I don't know. I'd be interested to see a comparison of just someone running and maybe doing some basic movement in this game versus Titanfall game.
Well, I mean, one thing that we also discussed earlier is the fact that, like, this game is so good, but it's also, like, we know it's going to get updated and things are going to be added to it as time goes on. So this game is very much in its infancy, and perhaps, you know, especially taking into account a lot of the discussion that people are having, like the one that we're having right now, perhaps they'll be willing to implement that something like that in the future if they think it'll be better for the overall gameplay.
Yeah.
I mean, like, we should always keep our minds open to that. Like, this game is very young, and it's possible that they may consider doing something like that in the future. I mean, it's obvious that the game has a bright future, so
Just put one Titan in the middle of the map and have everyone fight for it.
that would be pretty cool. I would have no problem with that.
Or like put 2 or 3
Yeah.
and then see what happens.
Hey, I mean, speaking of which, like, do you guys think adding Titans to the game in any kind of form is either A, a viable, or B, even a doable thing?
You could do the same thing as the alts. Have it last what do the alts last, like 30 seconds or
Something
something?
like that.
I guess it
So
depends on
have
which
them
one.
have them drop the Titan as soon as it's like loaded. They can see through the Titan's vision. That's their 30-second start.
Actually, you know what would be really cool? If they added one of the Titanfall protagonists as a character in this, gave them a loadout that makes them very fundamentally similar to their gameplay in Titanfall, even if it means giving them abilities that give them some of those parkour elements and make calling a Titan its ult. I mean, if people are really wanting that, it may call a lot of preference towards that character, but it's just one more really cool character that they could add to the game. So that would actually be interesting in a way. I would actually enjoy that even more, especially like my only real experience with Titanfall is playing the Titanfall 2 campaign. So, you know, having my big robot boy who has, you know, actually I almost just said a massive spoiler for no reason. Anyways, we're bringing up a lot.
Titanfall 2's old. You can ruin the.
Yeah, well,
It's like it came out in 2016.
On that note, I mean, at the same time, I don't think it would be an OP alt as well, because I found when we were playing Titanfall, I got way more kills, like human kills as a human than I did as a Titan, because people would just tag team you and just mess your Titan up, and if they got on top of you, there you were done. It didn't matter. Like your Titan was done.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be a good option to have in there. It's just another alt, 30 seconds. Leave it at that.
So would it just explode after 30 seconds?
I think it would just eject you.
It would just eject you.
Yeah.
So that also can put you at a disadvantage, right?
Yeah.
So it's like have you in a super overpowering machine, but as soon as you're ejected, you're a sitting duck in the air going down as you're waiting to come down from the sky.
Well, I would think like having it explode is a pretty logical way of approaching like getting rid of it, but still making it worth the action, you know, like, and like maybe that's a kind of good advantage disadvantage situation is like you get shot up in the air, but people are also gonna have to hide behind a tree or something to get out of the range of your explosion, right?
Yeah.
So like Diva's ult, for example. So, you know, now that we've spoken about it, I am really hopeful that becomes a thing. Like there's obviously no Titans in this game, and maybe they don't need Titans because this isn't Titanfall Battle Royale. This is Apex Legends. It's its own thing. It's got its own stuff going on. So adding a Titanfall character who has access to a Titan, I think would be really cool. So
how I was thinking about it originally is that everyone would just drop in with a Titan. That way all the Titans would fight each other and thus kill each other.
Yeah, which is an interesting concept, but I feel like when everybody drops into the game, that's probably when the game is busiest and when the server struggles the most. And in terms of like lag or gameplay, like having 60 Titans dropping at the same time sounds like it'd be pretty fucking wild. So
I think that lag would handle fine. They're a big enough company, they can handle the lag.
Well, I mean, it's even so far as like processing, right? Like if I'm like playing this on an Xbox One regular and it just can't handle having so many giant robots on the screen shooting each other at the same time, like you never know with this kind of stuff.
I feel like adding Titans into the mix would just kind of like, it's almost like you're giving the player too much, because you have a character who has all these standard first-person shooter / battle royale guns and equipment and attachments they've got to sort through, plus their own MOBA style abilities that they have to use that are different from everyone else's. Then you're going to add Titans on top of that, which also has
Titan was their ability.
Well, that's different. I mean, if you had
what
someone,
I meant with the full Titan thing was like it was just Titans. So once your Titan was dead, you were done. You're out.
Yeah.
So it's like it doesn't even include your MOBA or the.
Yeah, but is that not like? Could you not just do that in a normal Titanfall game? Like if you're gonna make
it wouldn't be worth it.
That is a mode in Titanfall.
Yeah, like if you're gonna have a round that's focused exclusively on having Titans, then wouldn't it live better in a Titanfall game anyways?
No, I'm just saying put in a battle royale window with larger amount of enemies.
Yeah. Yeah. In any case, I don't think Titans necessarily need to be the focus of this, but considering that is a pretty common complaint, especially from people that haven't actually like played the game and stuff like that, I think it would be cool to see some recognition there. And yeah, I mean, something else you can consider is like having Titans in instead of alts would be kind of cool. I mean, like one thing I've always respected about Overwatch is that you have like the main assortment of modes that is updated based on the metagame and stuff like that. Like you can do competitive, you can do just free play, but then you can also pick modes that add extra things into the mix. You can just pick all of the same character like you used to be able to in free player. You're limited to certain characters on certain maps or stuff like that. Like, I mean, if they really want to expand this game's usability, I mean, even Fortnite does the same thing too, right? So if they really want to give people more to do with this game and more to do when you're matchmaking, then there's a lot of ways that they can implement Titans into that as well.
You know, this is kind of unrelated, but going off that point, praise does have to be given that this launch went as smoothly as it did.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything about people complaining about server issues or like getting booted or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like that is like
That's really
pretty much
good.
unheard of these days. Like everything launches with server issues. When was the last time something launched and the multiplayer immediately worked?
And look at Anthem. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I definitely don't see dropping in Titans as a way to implement them properly, to be honest. I'm actually a much bigger fan of the idea of just having a character that can call them.
You can always have a mode that has people dropping Titans.
that's what I was going to say.
For people that, and then it could just be your Titan. Like instead of having you are just a Titan, as soon as your Titan's dead, you're done. You're out of the game.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, I like how the game is on its own. I like.
All right. Well, that's just about all the time we have. So you guys have any closing thoughts here?
Well, for me personally, they didn't add enough to it for me to necessarily consider it any better than Blackout. Like they said, there's a few comfort mechanics that are added to it, but other than that, it just looks like a re-skinned Blackout.
Yeah, but
I
it's
see
free,
what you're saying. Yeah,
you know?
it's also free.
You're not paying $80 for it, which I really, really respect. Like, again, we've said it 1,000 times, just to have this good of a game out of the gate for free is kind of a blessing. So
No, and that's what I get there.
Yeah.
I'm saying because I already have Blackout.
yeah, that's fair. I mean, I'm definitely going to be grinding this. I don't really spare the money for stuff like Call of Duty anymore, so it's really nice that I have this downloaded on my Xbox. I can just play it whenever I please. No obligations. I don't have to buy a single battle pass or loot box if I don't want to. So,
Yeah.
you know, that's really nice as well. And I think that's going to contribute to this game's momentum as being people being able to pick it up and put it down. No issue, whatever, no roadblocks to be able to do that.
Yeah, for me personally, I'm really excited for the updates that'll come to this game. Like, I personally think they're gonna do another thing no Battle Royale has, and actually come out with multiple maps rather than changing their map. Based on we can see it's Kings Canyon, we know the map name and stuff. So that's what I think personally. I'm excited.
Jack,
Yeah.
any closing thoughts?
I like it. Like, honestly, what you guys have saying. Well, except for you, Jared, you're being a Debbie Downer.
Yeah, he's
Like,
like a devil's
I
advocate.
mean, honestly, I don't have to spend money on a Call of Duty game if I want to play like a better version of a battle royale. Like, that's awesome. I can go home right now, download this. I think I'm going to, and I can play it with my friends. I think it has everything going for it that I've disliked about other battle royales. It fixes those issues and makes gameplay fun, and I can't really fault it in any particular way as of yet. So I'm excited. I think this is something that's gonna kind of get me back into playing video games with my boys, because I've been playing a lot of single player stuff lately. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, I think it's safe to say you guys can expect a lot more content from us as far as Apex Legends comes pretty soon. So stay tuned for that. Consider dropping a subscribe and, of course, a like on this video. And thank you for tuning into this discussion. It's been a blast, and we'll see you.
Well, why don't you let us know what you think of Apex Legends?
Oh, yeah, that too, I suppose.
Yeah.
I suppose we can hear what you have to say.
We don't read comments. No, we don't interact with the community.
No.
That's not who we are.
No. All right, well, thanks for watching.
Bye.
See ya.